I think that's enough ducks.
All right.
It's enough ducks. All right. I am joined by Ben and Melissa. Guys, you've traveled around the world.
Everywhere. Literally.
This is like your first full day home in 100 years. And you're like, yeah, let's go live stream.
This guy's been up all day.
We haven't even been home for 24 hours yet.
That's true.
Yeah, true. I've been home for a little over 24 hours. Like a little bit before you guys. But you left way before I did. So
that's fair.
You know. Oh man. Woohoo. Ben. Wow, that's what we're excited about. We're excited about Ben. There you go.
Shout out Liz.
Liz, is the fam home yet?
He hasn't said he was, so I have no idea. So I gotta ask the first question. How did you guys do in Set Champs this weekend?
Us? We didn't play.
I wish I got to play.
Play? What do you mean you didn't play?
We got to play in the first DLC of season 2.
That's true. Way cooler than Set Champs. Real fun. I know it was like one of those where we were away, we're doing our own thing, we're participating in the DLC, and I forgot all about Set Champs.
Yeah.
I like knew they were happening, but very few people I knew were playing with them.
Yeah.
I did wish I could have signed up for an on-demand set champs
That would have been cool.
Like in Bologna.
in Bologna. Yeah, after day one, like that's what I wanted to do day two. Because we'll get to it, but Infinity is a topic.
It is a topic. My headline today is, "Am I good at it?" I might be. I
Yes.
might be good at it.
Proud
I
of
don't
you.
know. It's hard to proud of you. Somebody has to be.
You guys are as good as each other. That's all I know.
Look at all the love from Melissa and chat. 79th place. Killer. We'll get to all that though. So yeah, I guess like it's been a little while since we've been around. You guys went to Stockholm before going to the DLC. So talk to me a little bit about Stockholm and kind of just like that community. Like we've had the pleasure of the last few weeks, kind of our first time getting out and seeing these other communities. We talked all about Japan when Dick went to Japan, but you guys were able to go to Sweden. We went to Italy. I know in Italy, I think I played against like 8 different countries in a weekend. I'm sure you guys are pretty close to the same. So just talk to me about, those last couple weekends of just traveling and playing Disney Lorcana. I guess you can talk about Disneyland Paris too, whatever. But
Yeah, so we flew into Stockholm. We landed the Friday morning for a CCQ that was on Saturday morning with a top cut on Sunday. We stayed at a hotel that was super close to the venue, which was awesome. So we woke up on Saturday and kind of walked over there. It was a little hard to find the entrance to the venue. Like there were a bunch of doors and we didn't really know which corner of the building was the right one.
It was in a school, I think.
like a gymnasium, you said?
There was like we were in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
There was like multiple gymnasiums, so like I don't know what kind of school it was, but like the room was basically a gymnasium. With like bleachers and stuff.
There was a card show going on at the same time, basically. So like left half was card show, right half was 2/3 Lorcana, 1/3 Magic tournament, give or take.
So it's kind of like PAX Unplugged.
In a way, it was like PAX Unplugged. Yeah. It felt a lot smaller.
Oh yeah, I'm saying like.
Idea.
I mean, I guess you can kind of compare to Gen Con, but Gen Con is like ridiculously large.
No, yeah. There was 120 of us in the Lorcana CCQ, and they had an equivalent Magic CCQ, well, whatever, qualifier.
Oh.
And that had 20 people.
It was nutty.
But there was a card show in the other half that had like maybe 20 booths.
Okay.
That was so thick that you could not walk through it and to like get to the tables. I like we walked around from like 10 to 10:30 because we got in because we were competitors. After lunch, it wasn't worth trying. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And like very similar to if you're at a Gen Con or a PAX Unplugged, as soon as like the card show ends, the wall goes down. So like you can only stay on your half of the floor, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's always weird when you walk into a building and everything's open, and then like at some point during the day, you're like, "What happened? Like, where did other stuff go?"
Yeah.
But no, it was a really cool tournament. It was run by, I believe, Nordic Realm is the name of the group.
Nordic Ink Realm.
They're essentially all community built, like volunteer based. They have like TO, judge staff, everything. They hold the Malmo tournaments, which I know you've reported on in the meta report before. And then they've been doing these Stockholm Opens. So they try and kind of like switch up the location within their region, so to speak. I don't know what the breakdown of like Nordic represented people versus not was, but there was definitely some people from other areas there. And then I believe there were 4 of us from the States, Ben and myself.
You weren't even the only Americans.
No, and then Zan was there and Nathan was there.
They knew where we were from. They were tracking every player and what country they were from.
Okay.
It was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those where obviously this year, the United States went from having 6 DLCs to 3, but like at the cost of that, the globe got all these other opportunities, and this is kind of like leading into that, right? Like these CCQs in Sweden, in Cardiff, in Bologna, apparently, like all of those having these opportunities to have more Disney Arcana is pretty huge. Like, and you guys said that that community was like tight knit, like everyone kind of knew everyone, and it's cool for them to like get that experience, be able to play in that way. We were not there, right? It was in the same weekend as Bologna, but like we heard Utah. Like, I mean, when you think Disney Lorcana, no one's really talking about Utah necessarily, but they also had a CCQ last weekend. So it's like, it is kind of cool that the CCQs are giving these different communities the ability for like, hey, like here's a pretty much as top echelon as tournament as possible, right? You talk about winning a Continental's invite. That's pretty massive.
Exactly. It was also really cool. Their community basically came together and said, like, we want to have a kids tournament going on in parallel because we know this is a very intense, high stakes environment. And like, I guess there's a bunch of families who always go and the kids always play, but they didn't want to put those kids in a situation where there's just more pressure and kind of tensity than normal. Mm-hmm. So the group basically said, okay, we're going to run a kids tournament. And so they had a table in the corner, and however many kids showed up got to play in their own tournament. The Ravensburger representative for the Nordic region was there. Like, she made sure that there was prizing for all of the kids, like as participation as well as winning. So it was really nice just to see them like being welcoming and open and making sure that everybody had a place and felt comfortable.
Now you guys also did Pro Play Summit Denver, which is also CCQ. Talk to me about the prize walls at these events. Like how different were they? What was good? What was bad? Things like that.
So this prize wall, I believe, was a little bit different than prior Stockholm and like Malmo events, but essentially it had, I'll say, all Ravensburger branded prizing on it. Okay. So like when you entered the tournament, you got a little goodie bag, which I know I had posted on my social media. Everyone got like a can of soda, a bag of candy, a booster pack of either, I think it was Azurite, but I'm not positive. It might have been Shimmering.
Yeah, I don't know. It was 5 through 8, yeah. 5 through 7.
And you got one ticket in your bag. So one ticket for the prize wall. And then like they had Pack Rush going on.
And a pin.
Oh, yes.
You got a Nordic Ink Realm pin, which is actually the best souvenir I got in Sweden.
That was pretty cool. Okay. You also got the Dumbo promo card. The evasive Dumbo.
You got 2 promos.
And like an older promo.
A Pluto.
Yes.
Okay.
So like very cool. Everyone got something for being there like before the tournament started. And everyone got one basically prize wall ticket. So we walked over to the prize wall just kind of to check it out. There were booster packs you could get. Mm-hmm. They had big cards is what I'll call them essentially.
Oh, these are not oversized cards. These are big cards. They're promotional. So they give them, so Evelyn, shout out Evelyn. She is the Ravensburger representative for the Nordic area, for the Scandinavian area.
Okay.
I don't know what her official title is. Sorry.
She calls it the Nordic.
But she did a great job with the decoration of the tournament. She had these like really big Mickeys that were like cardboard cutouts, and she like basically pioneered the big cards. Mm-hmm. That they give to like the shops with every set, right?
The European shops, to be clear. The American shops.
Yeah, I don't know what they look like. We've never seen them.
Yeah, you'll know in a few days, hopefully tomorrow when the mailman comes. But
we're waiting for our mail to show up. It's at the post office.
Fair. Anyway, I've like never seen them in the US, so like they were crazy to see. And they're like probably like, I don't know, 2.5 feet by 2 feet, 3 feet by 2 feet. They're pretty big. Nothing like the oversized cards we saw at the DLC.
Yeah, like for anyone that saw those, like the pictures of them, I don't remember if we posted the prize wall or not. We probably did, but I was definitely underwhelmed by the oversized cards, for sure.
So
I mean, they're fine, you know. I guess you can fit them in your book bag, which is nice. You know, you can get like at least for people that wanted them, they could have got them home. I don't know if you guys really looked at that. Like, how many different ones do you think they even had? Like, what set was it? I
They
literally
had 6 different ones.
is
They
that it?
were
Okay.
the same. They were like promo cards, or like the ones that they made promos of. There was like Stitch the Pirate, Yzma,
There was a Mickey. There was the Minnie Mouse, right?
Baymax, Mini.
Baymax, Minnie.
Okay.
I don't know if Elsa had one. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure Elsa did not have one because I would have wanted it.
I can find the picture I took.
But yeah, they were 160 tickets, which was like
what you got
for entry.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I spent like less than 3 minutes looking at that prize wall. So
Jafar and Mulan were the other two.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, these cards that we saw when we were in Stockholm were the same printed cards, but significantly bigger. And like that, they were basically 1 ticket each. So Ben and I walk up to the prize wall and we're like, hey, we got 2 tickets for entries. So I guess we're each getting a big card because like it's the coolest thing that was there. Now there were also like Lorcana puzzles on the wall if you hit a certain prize threshold, booster packs, like Villainous was on there too. I think basically like Ravensburger products were on there. Pins were on there, like stickers from OP kits, promo cards. Like I know at the end of the day, Zan traded in his ticket for a Lady promo card because he's like, I played Lady today and I don't have 4 promo cards.
The League one, yeah.
Yeah. So there was just like a bunch of stuff. And you could earn tickets from doing Pack Rush or other like side events that they had going on. Which was a cool way to keep people engaged who maybe weren't in the main tournament or dropped out or don't make day 2.
Yeah, fair.
Definitely very different than what we saw, both cost-wise and kind of product-wise, than what was at PPG Denver, which I know is the original question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously PPG was like their prize wall was like every game that was there, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of that. Now, I'm pretty sure I remember the answer to this, but were you able to get those non-foil cards from the prize wall this time? Or how did they give them out at that CCQ?
No. At the CCQ, you could only win them
by placing.
Everything on the prize wall was a Ravensburger promotional item because Evelyn has extra, I guess. Or, like Ravensburger products that was like stuff that we could get at the booth from like Gen Con or packs.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So it's really what that is showcasing to kind of like anybody is that these CCQs are all going to be run a little bit differently. Like there isn't like a hey, you have to do this. It seems
right.
There's only been a few of them so far. Like I don't know if you guys I didn't hear anything about how they gave them out at Cardiff or any of the other ones yet. I don't recall hearing about that.
I didn't hear about it. I didn't really ask the people who I knew that were in Cardiff, to be fair. But
I don't believe they had the cards to hand out.
I don't think anybody has had them yet.
They didn't because the TO for us had made a comment that they would have to collect addresses if you made the top 16 for the next promotional item that was being given out.
And I'm not positive, but I still don't think the ones from PPG have come in yet.
I don't think so because I never saw the email about it that we filled it, that like we input.
That was half the experiment of doing it.
Yeah, right. True. But all in all, it was nice that you guys were able to get there, meet another community. You guys said that they were very welcoming, which from our trip to Bologna, I can't fathom is not true because Bologna was so kind to us. So yeah, I don't know. Anything before we get into that? Anything last about Sweden?
No, Judge Angelo ran a great tournament.
You said he ran up to you and
we met. We saw each other for a few minutes in Bologna, but no, I would definitely go back to Sweden. That was awesome tournament experience.
Love it. Well, let's talk about DLC Bologna. I mean, first and foremost, can we just like soak in the concept that like we played in a DLC last weekend? I mean, it had been nearly a year since we could say that. That's kind of crazy.
It was definitely a long time coming and very exciting to be there
What was
and
it?
take part.
When was Continentals?
I mean,
Well, I don't
mostly
really
huge.
count Continentals as a DLC. You know, like I think we have to go back to Seattle of last year,
Okay.
which was
the end of
October.
October, right?
So that
So
Seattle
like
was October.
It was the end of October it
end
was
of
almost a
October.
year.
Okay, I'm considering that 1 year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a year. Like so, you're talking about a year in between DLCs, and like I mostly don't count. I mostly don't count Continentals because realistically, only 128 players played in a DLC in that.
Sure.
So like we didn't really get to play in a DLC, and even the last chance qualifiers were like not a DLC either. So while Continentals was great and I was happy to be there, I still count Seattle as the last DLC, and I mean technically it is. It was like from the moment we got to the line just to check in to get our badges, it had already felt like, yep, this is it. like we had got there like I don't know, probably 5 or so minutes before the doors were going to open, and we were already standing in a line of 100 people. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But for me, it didn't really hit until Saturday morning waiting to get in the building. And it was like we got there and that line was probably 1,000 people deep. And I was like, wow, like this is it. Like here we are. We're back at this again.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, sitting down for round 1 pairing, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
There's no player meeting.
You were in it. You were in it. That room was massive.
Well, I mean, what's crazy is that so we have this giant line to get into the building. We had to go through security basically, and
Yep.
I
Thank God we
don't
didn't bring deodorant.
Yeah, right. I don't believe that Ravensburger or Fanfinity knew of the whole security thing because they wanted to start at 9 a.m. and that was not going to happen. Now, to credit to them, we started about 9:20, and it's just like you said, like they make an announcement over the loudspeaker, and it said, "Oh, pairings for one out." And in my brain, I'm thinking like, "Oh, it must be player meeting, like whatever. I'll just walk to the side where I'm normally going to sit in player meeting." And I couldn't get my phone to load. Spoiler, that's a conversation of the whole, DLC. But I finally get I don't know how you guys found your seats, but I went to the board and hit the QR code, and like that worked for me. And then I realized like, oh wait, this isn't player meeting. This is round 1. Like we are sitting down for round 1, and I got very lucky because I was still in the like table 100. If I was on table like 800, it would have took me like 5 minutes to get to the table. I would have had no idea.
We got paired at tables next to each other,
Yeah.
which was like very
very weird. Yeah, we were 734 and 33.
Crazy.
So, like we were in a weird spot, but like also when we saw the pairings, whichever one went to found the pairings, we saw the other one automatically, which was a crazy circumstance. But yeah, we didn't get in that room until 9:18.
Yeah.
And at 9:25, they made an announcement that round 1 would start in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I was definitely insane. Yeah, right.
Alex was right there with us.
Oh yeah.
We looked over and I was like, oh, maybe there's a small chance like they did it by name and it was like all the TFMs were next to each other. But then I immediately realized that wasn't the case because you, Scott, and Dick were all somewhere else.
But Dick and Scott were also within like 10 people of each other.
Yeah, they were within 3 or 4 tables of each other also. And then I was like nowhere to be. I was nowhere near you guys. When I got done my round, I couldn't even find you guys. Like I was like, I don't even know where they are.
And we were wearing green.
Yeah, I looked for green.
Yeah, man, spoilers of that. Like that was such a hit on the weekend. And shout out to everyone that did like compliment the jerseys. It made me feel really good. I was really happy that we could keep them like a surprise for as long as we did because we've known about them for like probably about a month or so now. I got them in the mail over a week before the event, I believe, and it wasn't enough time to get them to you guys because you were leaving for Sweden.
We were gone.
I did get an emergency package to Alex so he could have his hoodie for the weekend, so that was nice. But yeah, aside from that, like we hid that pretty well, which was it was pretty fun to like show up and just be like the brightest people in the room, like not even close.
It was great. Whenever I couldn't find anyone, I said, "Can you stand up because you're tall and look for green?"
Yeah.
They could always find you.
Dual
Absolutely.
purpose. We didn't get hit by a car on a bike. We
didn't.
All right. Well, we won't talk about that yet.
Bruno.
Good one.
So anyway, damn you, Ben.
Causing trouble over
It's
here.
content, right?
So I think it's a good time, right? Like the first DLC of the season, our first European DLC. I told everybody that asked, like so many people asked, like, wow, I can't believe you guys came over there. And if I'm being honest, I thought with the lack of DLCs this year, there would have been more Americans that traveled, but I think it was less than 50. Honestly, like it was not that high of a number of people that traveled, and I was a little bit shocked. I really did think that more were gonna travel for it because it had just been like a year since the last DLC. Didn't happen though. But I think it's
sold out too, right? Like,
well, yeah, and obviously there was some protests, so the number had a pretty significant drop. Almost 200 players didn't make it to the tournament, because I think we capped it 2048, and it was 1865
or something.
Yeah, something in like the high 1800s. So we had dropped off 150 to 200 players, which definitely sucked. But the protests were not fun. Chaotic in chat here. Alex, he got trapped in a train station for a few hours. You guys had a awful time getting a cab to get to the Airbnb. Myself, Dick, and Scott made it just in time to kind of avoid it all, which was nice. But it was a bit sketch. It kind of sucked. It really did. It was really unfortunate, and it almost feels like DLCs are just, I don't know, like they're like a beacon for these things. like every other DLC, there's something that happens in the world that prevents people from getting to the DLC, which is always unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I wrote a huge article about this. I know Melissa read it. I don't know if Ben read it, but I really wanted to kind of just talk about the kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly about the DLC. And since we already had a friend, that kind of asked the question, in so many words, in a grade of 1 to 10, what would you give the Play Hub this past weekend?
-5.
Negative. Oh man,
no, come on, it's 1 to 10.
Probably
we gotta respect
2.
the scale. It was, I was gonna say a 3.
I think it would be difficult to even give it a 5. And this is like with complete love, right? Like, we want this to work. Quite frankly, I think we kind of need it to work. But yeah, like round 1 went off, pairings went out. That was great. That was great. And at the end of my round, when I was done 2-0ing my opponent, I opened up the website and I go to report the thing, and it just says submitting, and then it doesn't submit. And then I click it again, and then it doesn't do it. And I tried a third time, and I get the oops, we dropped the cards.
Our cards.
That's
and
what
I was
happened
like,
to me.
Judge. And the judge comes over, and it's like literally me and the table to the right and the table to that right, and none of us can get it to work. So we're already reporting to the judge that there is an issue, and they have to take our my judge in round 1 wrote down the outcome, and then did that for the next 2 tables as well. And then
In the phone?
no, this time she wrote it down by hand in round 1. The rest
Interesting.
of the day that changed, as
Yeah,
we
had
will
a
get into.
judge
But yeah,
at round 1 who came to check because they saw me and my opponent trying to submit and asked if we were good. And it appeared that it went through because it went green. And then 2 minutes later, I was still sitting there because Ben was wrapping up his game. And so I was kind of just waiting. And I saw it didn't go through. So I called a judge and they opened something on their phone and input it. And they said,
Yeah.
I'm inputting the record as you and your opponent are telling me. Go up to the judges station and confirm that it's good. So when we were done, I went over to like HQ and I asked them and they said, why are you coming to me if you reported it to a judge?
yeah.
And I said, well, the judge told me to, so I came to check. And they said, okay, I see your result as a 2-0 in favor of Melissa. So like you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. But that wasn't true for every one of your rounds.
No, I mean, I had round 12, I think it was, like the very
Yeah.
last round where the judge input it, and then I got announced to go report, and then my opponent got there before me and reported, and then I went up again, and they said it's still not reported. So it took 3 tries of manual inputting to.
So technically speaking, you were the last match of Swish to be reported in the first DLC.
I believe that is the case.
Historic.
Definitely.
Which was wild because that was one of the first games done. But
yeah. I won't lie. I can't lie. It was rough. Luckily, and I will say that, luckily, we didn't lose a round. I will say that all of our rounds were moved forward with the Play Hub. We didn't strictly go to some other forum or website like we had to at Pro Play and stuff like that. So it did technically make it through the tournament. So that is at least a success. But I believe, I don't even remember what round we had started with the paper pairings.
3.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
So.
Because it's always after round 2 is when the real problems happen.
Yeah. That whole experience made the event a lot more frustrating for many, without a shadow of a doubt, because you're talking 2,000 people all having to go to basically the same place. And if I have anything to offer, in this world where, we've kind of had to deal with this now on several different occasions, that cannot be the answer, right? You got to find as many ways as possible to get that information out there. At PPG, in the past, they were putting it to the Discord and things like that. Now, granted, I wasn't in any Discord. I don't know if Melissa was. She's in 13,000 Discord.
I was, but instead of them using a Discord, they eventually ended up basically putting a second QR code link that linked to the Fanfinity website, where they were essentially manually putting a copy of the pairings. So you couldn't see standings.
That's the thing we were using? Okay.
Yeah, that's the link that Scott had said, hey, everyone should be using this.
Cool.
And essentially it was like a grid that had table name and player 1, player 2, and it had a search function on the top. So you could type in your name and it would tell you the table.
I had no idea where that came from.
Yeah, it was this. So at one point they had a QR code that was taking you to RPH, and then eventually they made a second QR code to their own website.
Okay, that makes more sense. That queue, I know there was at least one round for me where it didn't update, and that was frustrating. I think I specifically remember it was round 4. It was round 4 or round 5 where it was just stuck on the previous round for me, and I just wouldn't do anything. I'm like, all right, I'll go to the judge this round. I think throughout the day, I found my own pairings on RPH, asked the judge, went to the center placed and looked at the paper, went to the wall and looked at the paper, and I think basically the rest of my rounds I asked the judge. And shout out to them. They were great. It could have been a lot worse. And I will say this, we had what I felt like a lot of staff. You know, like I think that there was probably way more judges there that needed to be there, but like, you know, it was a good thing in these moments where there was just like kind of just chaos in a way. You know, they were able to manage that chaos pretty well. But yeah, like all in all, RPH, the servers, they're definitely not where they have to be. I think again, we were fortunate. We didn't lose a round. I think that that's the biggest takeaway for me. You know, in every other event, you know, bigger event in North America, they have literally lost rounds. So if that had happened, you know,
Yeah.
in a DLC where people are 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, like it'd have been ugly. All right. It would have been ugly. So for that, you know, I'm hovering around a 4 for my my scale. I think that it did do the job, but it didn't do it well at all.
Yeah,
That's
I
where I'm
think
at.
what was frustrating for me was I always want to validate that my score and kind of points are correct. And there
Absolutely.
was not a way to really
No.
do that. And it was interesting because I noticed starting with round 3, because at that point I was 2-0 and then 3-0.
Yeah.
My opponents around me, we all started asking each other, like, what is your record? Just to
Yeah.
validate, like, am I playing someone of the same kind of
Yeah.
tier as me? And that was our best way to at least make sure that we knew if it was a pair up, pair down, or if it was equal.
Yeah, it's really funny. You said that to me very late in the day, and I'm like, I didn't ask a single opponent.
Somebody at the table next to me did it to his opponent, and then I was like, that's brilliant, so I'm just going to do the same.
Yeah. No, didn't do it.
Yeah.
Didn't do it. I was just playing Disney Lorcana. Like,
No, I know.
My bad. Disney Lorcana TCG. My bad.
TCG.
We got to get it right.
Want to talk about 60-minute rounds?
Yeah. What was that about?
I don't know. All of a sudden, the timer went from 55 to 60.
No, why was it even 55? We just had a rules update like 2 weeks ago, and it said 50-minute rounds, best of 3. And we get there, and I look at the clock. It says 55 minutes. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then they're like, wait a minute, guys, we're going to go to 60 minutes. And I'm like,
I was confused.
Okay. Here's what 60-minute rounds did. It made all the rounds 90 minutes.
Yeah. That's really it.
Yeah.
Turns and then just software
Play hub
issues and kind of making sure everything was ready to go. It felt like 90-minute rounds.
Yeah, I think from like the start of the clock to the next time I sat down for the next round of pairings, I think on average it had to be 90 minutes. And if I'm being honest, that might be being nice.
Some rounds it's definitely being nice, but that was probably the average.
Yeah.
And to that note, like, kudos to the casting team. That's a lot of dead time to fill and keep people entertained. And I heard a lot of positive feedback that people remained engaged and entertained.
Yeah, I have yet to go back and rewatch the stream. Just haven't had time to do it yet. But you know, I know that, you know, for you as an example, they were recording 2 sets of games at least. So it looks like they were able to like fall back and say, hey, we're gonna need something to do.
They were, but even with that, there was still extra time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like, I know at least the round that like I was the second feature, the first feature took maybe 30 minutes, and then our game was, call it 20-25 minutes. Yeah. And so even that combined is really only an hour, not counting turns, not counting everything else.
Yeah, some of those rounds were bad. They were tough. They were long.
Not enough Sapphire Amethyst mirrors.
That's correct.
That's how you fill the time, right?
I mean, we know plenty of decks that went to time, and it wasn't just those. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like the time, like it's really sad to say, but I'm like, well, it could have been worse, you know. Like,
no, I mean,
it is true, you know.
it was great to be there. Like there was obviously a lot of good, and we'll always focus on things that we want to be better, especially like looking towards Milwaukee and whatever's next. But definitely room for growth and improvement.
Yeah. The one thing I will 100%, there's two things. There's two things I absolutely have to throw salt at. The first, where was the Illuminary?
Yeah, I was really hoping to see it. Like we were in a really big room, a really big hall, and
yeah, we were.
I felt like for the amount of space we had, the amount of kind of Disney decoration was low.
Oh yeah, if you had told me I had walked into Star City Games,
that's what
I would have believed you. Like if you had told me I walked into Pro Play Games, I would have believed you. If you told me I walked into Gen Con, I'd have believed you. If you told me I walked into a Disney Lorcana Challenge, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like it was there because it was 2,000 players, which we don't get in any of these other events.
Yeah.
So like that aspect of it was there, but it did not have that Disney feel. Not to mention, like we had seen the interviews, we had seen the pictures. All the European DLCs last year had the Illuminary. They had this beautiful thing that people could like walk through and stuff like that. And we didn't have it.
Right.
I was so upset to not have it. I thought that was one of the coolest selling points of last year for the European events. Like as NA, we always like felt cheated. Like, oh, we don't get to have this thing. And then like, all right, well, we get to go over there. And then it wasn't there. I was upset. I was a little upset. I really was. I was let down.
Yeah.
What happened with the lights?
Oh, the lights went out.
My limited understanding is that there was like a time limit of when we were supposed to be in the room, and it was a warning that time was approaching, but the tournament was still going on.
Yeah, no one told security that turning the lights out during a card tournament, not cool.
Definitely
yeah,
not.
I like remember the first day when it happened. I believe Scott was still playing.
Yes,
yeah,
he was.
I can't remember who was. I know Melissa was there. I don't know if you were there, Ben. Also, if you were in the little like hangout talk session that we were sitting in.
Yeah,
went out. But I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. This is so bad. And I believe like a lot of the material that we had gotten had said that 8 o'clock was kind of the goal for the day.
Yeah.
Spoilers, that didn't happen either day. So yeah, the lights going out. I think it was just like hey, this is like your time, you know.
It was like pitch black. It was not like kind of dark.
Yes, I have a video of it that I never posted. I did like quickly take a video and like I was gonna post it and then I didn't post it. And yeah, man, the light just like went out.
It was very odd.
Like there was no windows in the room we were in.
No,
we went up or down. We went up like 3 flights of stairs, right?
Pretty much.
And then there was like doors that led to the outside, the balconies,
and the bathrooms.
The bathrooms were down.
The bathrooms were downstairs.
Yeah.
But like the room we were in was like, it would have been great for a zombie apocalypse. That's all I'll say.
Lots of entrances, but in some ways, yes. Some ways, yes. Yeah. No the light going out was definitely weird.
That was a first for a DLC for me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it had everything to do with just like that hard out. Like they were, I think we were supposed to be out of there by a certain time, and that did not happen. So my other throwing salt moment, and I think that this is probably the most inexcusable one. There was no water stations.
Yeah, that was not great.
I thought it was literally the worst part of the entire weekend. I don't know how you could have almost 3,000 players show up and you just like don't have any type. Not even the building had water fountains. Like, how does that happen? there is nothing at all in this building to disperse water. That's crazy to me. And then, of course, like, we're in the venue, so all of the drinks that you can purchase are overpriced because it's like this convention center type thing.
Yep.
I think it's a really bad look, and I really hope that that's fixed for like everything else. Like that's not a good thing. Yeah, I know I didn't go to any European DLCs last year. I have no idea if they were there, if they weren't there. But everyone in America had water stations.
So it's funny because when Bun and I, in between like Stockholm and Italy, were at Disneyland Paris, and I was comparing Disneyland Paris to Disneyland in California and Disney World in Florida, and saying how in Florida and California, there's a whole bunch of like refillable water bottle stations. So like you have the water fountain and then like the filtered thing that you put your bottle up to. Yeah. And I was saying to Ben how I ended up not bringing my metal water bottle because I didn't have space for it. Yeah. But I did have a plastic water bottle that like I intended to refill. And so walking around Disneyland Paris, they have a bunch of refill stations. Now they're not all like the filter stations, but they had water fountains and other ways to do it. And so I had a similar call out saying like, what is my means to do this? So I definitely thought there would be something. So the lack of anything but purchasing bottles or using like the sink tap water was very odd to me.
Yeah, when I heard people were going to the bathroom and using the tap water in the bathroom, I'm like, no shot.
Especially because like
no
staying hydrated is so important. Like a lot of people don't eat a ton at these events. They just like snack on a protein bar or like a granola bar, and that's really all they eat, if anything at all. So like lack of hydration just feels very dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, Ryan. I don't know. What I can say is like obviously every one of our meals we had to pay for water, right? Because it's all bottled. So that's kind of is what it is, but
I know Europeans thought it was weird as well. But there was no
apparently, what I had heard much later on was that they were also pissed. So it wasn't like I felt a little bit more justified in my opinion of saying like I cannot believe they're not here. So when I heard the Europeans were also annoyed, I was like, okay, like this is good. Hard to say. Team no eat.
Team no eat.
I just want to go. Ben are always team no eat. This is normal.
Just because Chaotic wrote this, it didn't work on day 2 though.
Yo, shout out first DLC no lunch break. Just saying.
That is true.
That was a good thing, and it probably happened because all the rounds were 90 minutes.
I don't know which one I'd take.
It didn't happen, so we at least didn't prolong the day even longer.
Yeah, I was very worried about it, and for what it's worth, if we did, we would have been there till midnight probably. Yes. So it was definitely good that we didn't.
What do you mean? The finals ended at 11:30.
Yeah.
We're talking about day 1.
I know.
Yeah, we already had dinner that night, and we're watching the finals in our Airbnb. Yeah. Oh man, let's see. Was there anything else that really so I didn't have any experience with this, but I heard the judge calls were kind of rough. Did you guys have any bad judge calls?
I had a really interesting judge call.
Okay.
A long story short, I sang Under the Sea in a Mirror.
Okay.
And I told my opponent that like, here's the order. Like, let's stack your cards. So he takes the pile, puts them on the bottom, and then starts riffle shuffling his deck. Like,
oh, what the?
Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, pause. You can't do that. I need to call a judge.
Oh, no.
So I raise my hand and I call the judge and I'm like, judge. And eventually they come over and they ask what happened. And so we both talked about it. The judge asked if we could both identify the cards that were sent to the bottom because of Under the Sea. And I had just done like a lore jump for my opponent, so I knew what the 5 cards were. My opponent confirmed all 5 cards that I mentioned and said, like, yes, that is accurate information. So the judge took my opponent's deck, looked through for the first copy of each of those cards that he could find, put them to the side, said, I'm going to reshuffle your deck. Your opponent's going to cut your deck, and then we're going to put those cards on the bottom. And I was like, okay, like this seems like the best solution we can come to.
Yeah.
And then he said, there are no warnings. You're just going to proceed with the game.
I don't get that there were no warnings.
That was the confusing part. And I asked about it. And I was like, what do you mean there's no warnings? Like a rule was just broken.
Yeah.
And then the judge responded and said, well, if anyone was going to get a warning, it would be you because you cast the Under the Sea and allowed your opponent to shuffle the deck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what, Melissa? Next time, just slap your opponent before they shuffle, okay?
Yes. Anyway.
Appeal.
I was in a position where I was essentially winning in 2 turns, and it just felt like it was overkill to like appeal and get a warning.
No, there is one of those where it's like, I agree with the stance that you had taken.
Yeah.
But that seems crazy to me.
Right. Like I only bring it up because you were asking about weird calls.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
It was definitely an awkward interaction.
It's just like one of those, it's like, oh, it's actually your fault that you played the card. And you're like,
they're like, well, you cast it. And I said, I know.
And you're welcome, did I? Like,
like I told you to put the cards to the bottom and then you started shuffling your deck.
Yeah.
Like I can't stop you.
That's a bit weird of a comment for that judge to make.
So that happened. That was probably the weirdest judge call I had all weekend.
Yeah, I know there was some missed stuff on stream. That kind of sucks.
I had no judge call. I had a deck check in between game 1 and 2 in round 3. The same round as Dick Burns, and we both passed. That's all.
It's true.
I will say that at the end of day 2, I had to call a judge to submit that result that then had to be resubmitted. But after that happened, the judge came over to me and he said, I want to thank you for being very transparent and playing clean. He said, I was watching you play and I know that you were playing like Amber Emeralds with dogs. He said, and you were always very vocal about how much your Tramp 7 was going to cost or how much your buffs for Tramp were. And so I don't know. I thought that was cool that he thanked me for that. Like I wasn't doing anything weird. I was just talking about my stat boosts.
Yeah. The only judge call I had all weekend was because of Jim Hawkins in Infinity. And it was just because my opponent was unaware that you could get multiple like things in the bag from him. Just with like regular ink and like Fishbone Quill or something like that. They were very confused when my Jim Hawkins had 4 strength. They're like, wait, what? I was like, no, like this works.
You shouldn't be allowed to hurt Daisy.
It was not a Daisy. It was I think it was a Cobra.
It's usually Daisy.
Yeah, no, it was a Cobra, I think. I think my Jim Hawkins took out a Cobra.
Nice.
But yeah. I think the most dramatic stuff is definitely the stuff on stream because everyone sees it. And I only watched the clip once. I don't think it looked very good, but I don't have enough to say aside from that. It just sucks that, you know, Melissa had told me that there was a table judge and things like that, and like it's just missed. And it's like one of those where everybody in the situation has to be better of those things, right? Like that judge has to see that. I don't know if the casters can do anything about it, you know, at like a DLC. I'm not really sure like what their level of it is, if they were able to like fix anything, if they had seen anything, because I don't know what the delays are. So that's really difficult as well. But yeah, like if there's a table judge, I mean, you got to be on it, you know, like.
So
what I
thought was really interesting. So day 1, I was the backup feature. And then day 2, I was kind of the main feature. So I got to see both setups because they were different. And the most interesting thing to me was that the backup table had your table judge sitting at the table and then like your scorekeeper. And then the main feature match had your scorekeeper at the table and the table judge was watching from a computer like with production.
Okay.
which to me almost felt backwards because if you're the
As
main
long as
player,
that stream, no, the scorekeeper there is like so the players don't have to think about hitting.
no,
the
that
button,
made
right?
sense to me. The fact that the backup table had the judge sitting at it and the other one, the
It-
judge wasn't like there, I thought was just
Uh,
interesting.
it's most likely to keep the judge off camera.
Yeah,
That's my guess.
that
Which
would
is
make
like
sense logically.
pretty like that's something that Ravensburger wants to do. They want to keep judges off camera if possible. So that's my guess for that.
Yeah.
As long as the stream that the table judge is watching is not delayed, then it's kind of the same. It might even be better, for them to watch that instead of being sitting at the table anyway, as long as it's live.
So the only thing I can think of is that it's harder for them to get to you if they need to interview.
Oh yeah, I mean you were back there. I wasn't. I'm not cool enough.
Yeah. So like where I was sitting and where the table judge were, like the interview area was in between us. Now, granted, the interview wasn't going on because the casters were casting the match.
Right.
But like you still basically there was a set of computers, then you had to like walk a little bit across into the area where we were playing.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like inevitably there's going to be some level of delay even if they catch it.
I mean, I kind of also assume the scorekeeper can stop the game.
It's possible that like the headphones the scorekeeper is wearing are connected to the judge and like maybe they pause. We didn't have any judge calls in my game, so I can't really speak to that piece.
Well, next time make a judge call. Come on, Melissa. You can't just come with all the information and then not have it. All right, like
I tried my best. I played clean.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you? Interesting. I don't know. It's tough to say, but like, yeah, all I gotta say is if you're assigned table judge, I mean, you just gotta be on it. Like, we can't have those things happen and get missed. It kind of makes everybody look bad in those moments, right? Like, the casters, maybe they notice it and they couldn't say anything because they're like being told not to do those things. The players can easily make the mistake and they feel bad about it. Everyone watching is obviously going to be the worst about it. So like it's just like one of those where if you're that table judge, I mean you just got to get it done. I don't know. Can we talk about prizing?
Always.
So the main event, you got a foil Mulan for getting 3 wins.
Yep.
You got a foil Pegasus for playing.
You got a foil Pegasus for playing.
Delivered in round 2.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah, that's right. Nothing happened in round 1.
It was the start of round 2.
You got 160 tickets for signing up.
Yeah.
With either badge.
Yeah, I'm not really counting. That's like you got this for getting a badge because you got that for event attendee badge as well.
Okay.
So and you get obviously you got the Anna promo or whatever too if you picked it up on Thursday. So basically you play in a DLC. If you get 3 wins, you get the foil Milan. And if you get 6 wins, you get day 2. And then with day 2, you got 1,000 tickets.
Yeah.
And then if you have, I mean, you actually, there's no like guarantee cutoff really after that, So basically after that, it's just like you're either top 64 or you're top 32.
Right.
Now we'll get into what changed, but basically like in day 2, you got 1,000 tickets for making day 2, and then you could have been 285th or 65th and been awarded the same prize. Like that's how it was listed.
Yes.
So Melissa, who was 79th and went 9-3 when the round had ended, was told you get nothing.
Have a great day and goodbye.
The announcement was if you are 1 through 32, we need to see you at the booth for pictures. If you are 33 to 64, you can pick up your Simba at the information point. If you are 65th or below, have a great day. Period. End.
That was the whole message. And because RPH wasn't fully functioning, you had to go to the paper standings in the back corner.
Which was on the entire other side of the room.
Way to get just punched in the face.
Like, I never even saw the entire list of standings because
Yeah,
once I saw my name, I was like, okay, that's my
Well,
standing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once we didn't make day 2, we were out of the event, right? We couldn't see anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to mention that earlier, but that is something that I actually very much dislike, for sure. Like, so just to make everyone understand that if you know, and if you were following along on the weekend, I mean, good luck, but the standings I don't think were ever revealed on RPH for the event. I don't think there was ever a point in time where we could have looked at the standings. I might be wrong. I definitely never saw it. But for day 2, what they did was drop everybody in the event from the tournament. So there's basically just like no trace of you being there anymore. Like, so even though I went 5-3 in the tournament, you know, I couldn't go back and say like, oh, like where did I finish that day at 5-3? Like what was my standings at the end of the day? No idea. Can't look at it. Which is weird. I think that's very I feel like if they're going to run their tournaments this way, the answer to going from round 8 to round 9 should not be like a mass exodus. Like, they got to figure that out.
And then, like, similarly, when they cut to top 32, like, I could not see any longer that I was 79 because
Right.
I just didn't exist.
Right. Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, so what ended up happening, I mean, you know better than me, so you may as well just tell the story. It's like, what ends up happening after they make this announcement?
Yeah, so they made the announcement. A bunch of us went over to look at standings. There was a group of like essentially myself, DKP, J Bomb, and somebody else was standing with us who were all 9-3, but not in the 64.
Right.
And we were trying to figure out, are we being matched? Because, for example, last year in DLCs, the threshold for a Let It Go was top 128, but the 128 number or point wise basically got grandfathered to the rest of the people at that point threshold.
Yeah.
At one point, DKP mentioned, well, somebody told me they are matching, like, let's go talk to a judge. So like 4 of us walked over to the judges who said, we have no control over this. You're not getting anything. Like, maybe something will change. Listen for announcements.
He said,
Yeah.
if we have enough Simbas, we'll give you Simbas.
Yeah.
But we don't think we have enough Simbas.
No.
And
Which is crazy.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And so I moved on. Ben and I started doing artist signings, like just went to the other side and we're doing things. Eventually, we heard some sort of announcement in the distance that said something about additional tickets.
Yeah.
But we couldn't really understand what they were saying.
You couldn't hear the announcement because that was happening. That announcement was happening where the main event was happening, which was on the far side of the room, opposite of where the artist signing was.
Right. Like where I was sitting, I heard the whole thing and I literally pinged Melissa immediately.
Right. So like I saw your message before I could hear anything.
Yeah. I was like, Melissa, go get your tickets.
Yeah. So then I went over to try to figure it out and they said like, yeah, you're going to get 2,000 tickets. So Ben and I go in the line because he had tickets from like the Infinity event he was in and I had tickets from that to get to the front. And I give them my ID and they said, you're not in the event. You don't get tickets. And I go, what do you mean I don't get tickets? Like I was 9-3 and he goes, oh, you have to go to this other spot to get your tickets. So I go to this other line and the staff member essentially had a list of everyone who was 65 to whatever, 120, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
And he was one by one highlighting your name as you showed your ID. And he handed you this little rubber banded bundle that was 2,000 tickets. And that was that.
That's crazy.
It was very odd.
Yeah. I think it's one of those where, you know, we never really talked about it, I guess, previously, and we talked about it a lot Monday night, I think, or Sunday night.
Yeah, we had a long
I think it was Monday night. We talked about this at length. There might have been some yelling involved, whatever. The prize structure for this feels just so bad, you know?
Like Chaotic had a great run. and
Right.
got nothing more than the extra 1,000.
Right. Like he finished in the top 128th.
Yes.
That's a fact, and he got the same prize pool as the guy that finished 285. Like
Right.
in every other DLC of 2,000 players, top 128 was a Let It Go. Now in this event structure, the Let It Go like got moved to the Milan, which feels like in retrospect kind of terrible because now basically the Simba is only Cinderella. Like Cinderella never got matched, right? Like that never happened.
Correct.
So since that never happened, only the Let It Go got matched. We're basically just missing a promo that's supposed to kind of go out to give to players. It
It's
just
like
doesn't exist.
it's sort of the 1,000 tickets, but like that
Well,
doesn't feel
no, 'cause the
great.
1,000 tickets is just like, hey, you made day 2, right? And
Yeah.
I guess like that kind of helps because it gives like if you were the guy that finished 129 and there was a different point threshold, like you didn't get anything, right? Like, but that's just because of the way the points were in 2-game format, it was like kind of all over the place. But I think that I don't think there was a time where in the DLCs the point threshold for 64 and 65 was different.
Right.
That happened. But I don't think it was ever at 128. Like at 128, they always matched and it went to like 140 or 144 on average. So for Chaotic, I think he was at 128. He was the third best X4. So that means like 125, 126, 127, 128, or whatever that number lays out to be. They were the top X4s and they got no additional prizing. And again, in every 2,000 person tournament, like previously, 128 was the number that got prizing. So it was just weird that like they didn't do anything, they didn't get anything. It's also just weird that they kind of removed like a reward promo. I made the comparison of them like removing the second playmat in the set championships. Like now that you've seen it, it kind of just feels bad. So for me, I think in a 2,000 player tournament, they should be moving the Simba to top 128. I think that just makes a lot of sense.
The other thing is the way that the timing of side events on Sunday started.
Oh, miserable.
Like
Yeah.
you being somebody who's in a position where you're 6-2 or 7-1 or 8-0, but you need to get to 10-2 and maybe not even make it. Like you're not in a position where you can say like all of a sudden I'm dropping. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to play out to hit those thresholds, but that also means you can't play kind of the largest competitive side event or the next 2 side events that are running. And so your options to kind of accrue additional tickets get limited. So
Yeah.
it feels very punishing
Yeah.
to not get anything extra, even if it's like 50 tickets per win or something. Like I don't know, it feels sour.
I think the structure of all those times certainly could have been better.
Right.
Like for one, the Infinity side event, which was the main side event of Sunday, started at the exact same time as day 2 of the main event.
Right.
I don't think that that's correct. I think that should be delayed an hour because, like you said, if you're X2 going into the day 2, and if you take a loss, you're effectively out of the tournament. Like at that point, you're probably not making top 64, right? Like it's just very unlikely because of the way the breakers are going to go down.
Yep.
You now already know that you can't get any more prizing in the event, most likely.
At that point, you don't think there's any more prizing.
Right. So even if you wanted to drop right then and there, you had no opportunity to play in this other event, which, like, by the way, in Bologna, it gave you a Mulan, right? Like,
yeah.
That is also right now the case for Milwaukee if you look on the Pastimes website.
Right. And sadly, I don't think anything's going to change for Milwaukee, which is frustrating. But like, I think it's really important to have this conversation so people understand kind of like all the things that were wrong with it and how it can so very easily be fixed. So I think that like just delaying the Infinity by an hour would be huge.
Like we had a friend who was 6-2 going into the day, and they ended up 6-3 after round 9, and they made a conscious decision to drop. They said, I can't hit day 2, like I can't hit top 32 anymore,
and I can't prize.
And I can't prize, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to do pack rush or do draft and
Yeah.
get as many tickets as I can, because that's a better use of my next 3 to 4 hours than playing these additional rounds.
There was also a guy that went 9-3, heard the announcement and went home.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went home. Yeah,
Somebody
I saw that.
commented on my X post.
Like,
Yeah.
I would die.
Because I said in my post, like, I got additional tickets, and they said, what do you mean? I literally left.
And that's like, that sucks. Like, that is, I'm hoping that there's some way that can be justified. Like, I think that he should reach out to them and say, hey, I didn't get these things. Like, can you mail me what I would have taken? Like, whatever. I think that this is like, this should not happen.
It's like some people had 15-hour drives or 12-hour drives.
Like, all right, I'm done. My tournament's over. I'm getting out of here. Like, I don't even blame them. Like,
no, not at all. Like, I'd want to leave if I could.
Right. So like we were there till Tuesday. We weren't going anywhere. Let's be honest.
Right.
I mean, I was still playing in the tournament at that time. Not everyone else. You guys all scrubbed out and left. But like,
excuse me, I did my job.
I scrubbed.
I meant the Infinity people, not you. Like, not you.
It was miserable. It was the reason we know it was 90-minute round is because
we're not there yet. We're not there.
All right.
We're not there yet.
These are the actual 90-minute rounds.
Yeah. So to me, the prize structure for a 2,000 person tournament, really, like, once we were there, once we saw it, unacceptable. I think, I pray that they fix it for Milwaukee. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I really do think that they need to assess that and look and say, if we look at last year and like how we did prizing last year, this is just not the same. And it really did leave a sour taste in players that, you know, they went X3. You won 75% of your games in a 12-round tournament and were told you're done. Like, that feels miserable. Like,
it was
actually miserable. So yeah, I hope that's changed in a big way for the next event. I don't know. Feels tough. I really hope that something gets changed for that one.
And then, like, on the flip side, the people who were 9-3 who got Simba didn't get tickets, which, like,
that's
sure, in a weird world, I understand that they're trying to compensate for us not getting Simbas.
Yeah.
But like, there was a gentleman getting cards signed behind us. We had a whole conversation with him, and he goes, "Oh, he goes, I was 9-3. Let me go get my tickets." And he found us 45 minutes later and said, "I got Simba, so they told me to walk away."
Yeah, that's like insane. Okay, that's like saying like, "Hey, you were in top 64, so you got like Cinderella, but you can't have Let It Go."
Right.
It's like,
it was just like, it was very weird.
Like, that's not how that works. I get the prize, right? Like, it's weird. Right. I don't know.
Like, I understand it was reactionary and it was probably a spur in the moment kind of snap call that somebody made. Sure. I just hope that there's transparency before Milwaukee so that people can set expectations accordingly.
Yeah, if anything, like, what I would prefer to make it feel, again, we're missing a promo because they moved Let It Go to this Milan thing, and it's 3 wins. Like, and I'm going to talk about the side event thing in a second here, but like, because of that, I think it should be the opposite. I think Simba should be top 128, and then top 64 should be that extra prize ticket point wall. Like, if we can't make another DLC promo exist, which I think is clearly impossible, I think that's how you filter it. You're like, all right, well, the top 64 people who don't make day 2 now, like, we're going to give them the bonus, give them the extra 2,000 tickets.
3,200 tickets. It should be the mat.
Whatever the number. Sure. That's fine. Whatever that number has to be for the Monopoly money, I don't care. Right. like, whatever it is, that's what they should do. I think that that'll make it feel a little bit better. It'll make the top 64 feel a little bit more cleaner because, I mean, I can kind of argue that like winning 2,000 tickets currently might have been better than winning the.
Simba.
That's what we were
Simba,
saying.
and that feels real bad. In all honesty, like if we're just looking for max EV, we're like, well, I didn't get into day 2, or I didn't make top 32. I didn't get my invite, and then they gave me like a worse prize. Like that doesn't feel great either. So, if in a perfect world, the change that they should make is top 128 is the Simba, and then the top 64 gets that's if it's 3,200, whatever the Monopoly money is, to get that like prize threshold. I think that that's really fair. If you're saying it's 3,200, you're like, hey, here's 3,200, like give them like here's a playmat. Great. I don't even care if they change it to like no tickets. They just give them a playmat. Whatever.
Give
right?
you
Like,
something so that you feel as though
right.
you were working towards something.
Right. Yeah. So like I think it's a bad feeling for everyone in that situation. Again, like you went 9-3 in a tournament and you were told you get nothing. I mean, that's crazy to me and also unacceptable. So like that's something that I think definitely should be changed. Now let's talk about the side events. Okay. First of all,
where do you want to start?
I think since we're on the topic of prizing, I want to start with prizing. The idea that for signing up for a side event, you were able to just get Mulan without winning a game.
Delivered in mid-round 1.
Literally delivered
to your table like the Pegasus?
Yep.
in turn 2 of round 1. I think is the biggest mistake of the entire weekend. All right. And here's why I feel that way. I understand we want attendees to get the promos. I get that. But if anything, it should have been the Pegasus.
Right.
There's no way in the world it should have been the Mulan. Like the Mulan it would be like them giving you a let it go for signing up for a tournament, right? Like that's exactly what this would be like. It's like, oh yeah, they didn't get the event. They couldn't make top 128. So like you could just pay $60 and just get this.
So remind me, how many people were registered for your
485 players in the Infinity event.
That's insane. So basically 485 people plus however many people won at least 3
There was
games.
1,500 people, we believe, that had at least 3 wins to get the Milan. And then 485 people signed up for this event and got it for free.
Which more or less makes it sound like there's equal or more Mulans out there than Pegasus.
As of today, I believe 100% there were more Mulans than Pegasus.
Right, which is crazy hearing as somebody who
it makes no
one
sense.
Wasn't in that event, and 2, it's like the higher prize just is more available.
I think it is the worst decision, period, of like literally the entire weekend. To me, there's no way that you can take the exclusive promo from the DLC that you have to win. Like people spent 8 rounds getting those 3 wins. We know them. Shout out, love you. But like that happens. And then all they really had to do is say like, oh, I could have just dropped in round 5. Wouldn't have mattered. Pay my $60 and just get him along. I don't think that
I know you too.
Yeah, I'm just not in it. I think that that's bad. So my biggest plea is like, please remove the Mulan from Milwaukee side event. I don't think that's a thing. Give out more prize tickets. I don't care what you want to do.
Change the pricing structure.
Yeah, like giving away the exclusive promo that you can only win in a DLC for literally entering the side event. I think that is absolutely terrible. If you're going to give out anything, just give out another Pegasus.
Right.
Don't keep giving out Milans. I think that it just really makes the prize feel almost worthless. Like if like we're playing, like before we were playing all like for 30 points and we were playing to basically get a Rapunzel, right? Like that's what we were doing. In no event last year in side events did they just give you a Rapunzel for entering.
No,
that's what they're doing. Like that's literally what they're doing. They're like, you know what? just for $60, like, here's the Rapunzel. It's like, if you didn't do that last year, you should not be doing it this year. So like, seriously, like, change that. I think it's terrible. Anything to add, Ben? You know, you played in this event.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, so you got 160 tickets for entering that for 0 wins, and then you got no changes for 1, 2, or 3 wins.
Yeah.
Spoilers: if you stayed in the event, they ran out of time, so everybody got a free win. So I would have stayed in the event for longer, but anyway, at 4 wins, you got 400 tickets.
Yeah.
So there was no difference. If you played 7 rounds and got 3 wins, you got the same as somebody that didn't play the tournament. So like, just have it scale. Like,
yeah,
like 1 win is 100 tickets, 2 wins is 250, 3 is 400, 5 is 500. Like, just scale it.
Here,
like, I think 8-0 is 5,000 tickets. Like, it's insane.
7-0, but yeah.
7-0,
Yeah.
sorry. 7-0 is.
I think, I don't know. I thought about this a real long time, and I'm going to make a post about it on the Metafy, kind of just in general of like how I feel, what the purpose of kind of like that DLC should feel like. And to me, and the community that we have, I feel like the more social you put it, but like leave it in this competitive mindset, it makes it better for like basically everyone. I know, you know, from my point of view, you know, you didn't make day 2. You're already not doing what you want to do on Sunday anyway, right? Like every player there, well, most players there are there with the mindset of like, I want to make day 2. I want to be one of those 285 players to make day 2. So like, if you can't do that, when you're playing on Sunday, you're already kind of defeated, right? Like you're not in this mindset of like, oh, I'm going to like kill them all, right? Like it's just not, you don't have it because you had it yesterday and it ran out.
You're playing a deck that you haven't thought about for Infinity.
For sure. Like specifically in this world where we're playing another format that basically, spoilers, I had not played a single game of Infinity since Fabled had come out, and I didn't even watch Infinity. Like I literally didn't experience. I had not played a game with Hyrim since it was banned. Okay. like that's what I'm getting at here. So I showed up and I literally, the last thing I did before we went to the airport was pack the cards to say, you know what, if I have to play Infinity, I'm going to play this deck. That's the last thing I did. So I had zero thought other than, oh, I better grab the good Sapphire cards to play in case I need them. Thankfully I did, but that's besides the point. So for me, I think in these events, if you really just want them to be successful and you want everyone to feel like they should play and not just say, hey, here's my $60, give me my Mulan. Like, I think that you need to kind of present them as a more social way and that kind of like that conversation. Now, you guys remember this from the conventions, right? Like when we go to conventions, like Gen Con, like PAX Unplugged, you sit down at the table, a judge comes over and says, hey, here's a pack for you, here's a pack for them, and the winner gets the extra pack.
Yep.
We can do the exact same thing with tickets, right? Like, hey, here's a round, here's 100 tickets for you, here's 100 tickets for them, and the winner gets an extra 100. Whatever. Like if you win 7 rounds and go 7-0, like you just won, what is that? 1,400 tickets. Like that's a great day. That's 2 Elsas. Like
I played an 8-man pod in Vegas on the Friday. That was very similar to that, where like I don't remember what the number was, but there was basically 3 piles of tickets, and it was like, here's Melissa's, here's Dan's, and here's winner's pod.
Right.
And they're like, you're playing your game, and winner moves on, and winner gets some scalable amount above that.
Right. And what I think that's good about this system is that the winners will still win. They'll still get extra tickets. And the more social players will get to experience playing the tournament.
Yes.
Right? Like if it's all about transitioning players from point A to point B, then giving them a position to just play the event and not feel like from the moment the event starts, you're like, I'm never going to get 4 wins.
Right.
So since I can't get anything for 2 wins or for 3 wins, like what's the point? I'm just going to go pack rush
Right.
Like, that's not solving any of the problems to getting social players to meet up with competitive players. So I think like presenting these events in a way of just like, hey, everyone can benefit from this because like as long as I play 7 rounds, I'll get 700 tickets. That's like just so much more incentive for like everybody involved.
It gives you something to do also and like reason to keep playing. Like Ben basically
Absolutely.
came up to me and was like, "Well, I'm not going to hit this threshold, so like why am I going to make myself miserable? Like I'm just going to walk around instead."
Yeah, and without a doubt, the tournament experience for Infinity was way worse.
I believe that.
I mean, I started that tournament at 9 a.m. I don't know when we left the building, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was still playing in the tournament
Like 7:30.
forever
I think
after you guys got done, like the 4 rounds. Like I don't think my tournament was done until the top 16.
We
Maybe
were
no,
like
it was the top 8. I think it
I
was
think
the
you
top
finished
8.
at like 6:30. It took
Yeah.
like 9.5 hours for 6 rounds, not 7.
Yeah,
even
and
though
we
you
didn't even
played
play one of the
a
rounds.
7-round
Right.
tournament. You played 6 rounds, and
Yeah,
they
it
took
was
90
rough.
minutes.
It was rough.
like
It
the
was not
last
fun.
thing we did was wait for you to pick up your tickets so we could all go to the prize wall, redeem our
Yeah.
stuff,
That's
take a team
facts.
photo with our prizes, and go get dinner.
Well, that's
Yeah.
no knock on you. That line was crazy.
Right, and that's definitely one of my other cons I'm going to get to. But the other thing I really think needs to be said, and I can't fathom anyone disagreeing with this comment. Can anyone explain to me why they aren't running a main event side event or a side event that is Infinity and Core Constructed at the same time?
My limited understanding was that they had those like mini core constructed, but then one of them got canceled, so it didn't even happen.
What do you mean? Core Constructed was on Melee.
No, they had 4-round tournaments, and there was supposed to be either 2 or 3 of them, and
Yeah.
only one fired. But it
Yeah.
wasn't for lack of players. It was like, hey, this event is no longer happening.
Yeah. So in my world that I just explained, where you play a round and you play for tickets every single round, I think that you can just do a core constructed. Like,
Yes.
and here's the reason why I think it's important for you to do core constructed is that the best thing you can do for the community of social players is letting them do what they want to do. As an attendee, you are basically telling the attendees like you are forced to play a format that you might not even want to play.
Right.
Or have a deck for.
Or have a deck for, which that definitely happened. As a player in day one, as a player in day one that is completely focused on core constructed for the last several weeks and didn't even want to think about Infinity, you were forced to play Infinity. Like,
spoilers, you could not play Sapphire Amethyst in Infinity.
Well, I bet you it was one of the most registered decks in the format.
Sure.
I believe that it was. I don't know that it performed.
No. No. So yeah, I think that there's just you can't give me any reason whatsoever why there is only Infinity side events. If people want to play Infinity, great. Let the 100 people that want to play Infinity. I don't care. Don't force 500 people to play it though.
So before we left for Stockholm, the dog's deck was an Infinity deck because I had last played it at Ink.
Yeah.
And when I changed all of the cards, when Ben and I were on the table, I said to him, take this stack of cards and put them in a team bag, because if I don't day 2, I'm just switching these 23 cards back into the deck.
Yeah.
And like I was in a position where if I needed to, I could do that. But like not everybody brought Rapunzel's, not everybody brought Hieroms or these cards that they didn't want to play them. Like,
yeah. That's my thing is, again, like I feel that our community is it's way closer to social than it is competitive. Like, yes, there's a lot of us that care about competitive, but we are completely outnumbered. Like, I mean, ungodly outnumbered. So for me, when you really look at this grand scope of the event and like being there, living it, being a part of that, my first 4 rounds of opponents didn't even want to play Infinity. Like, You know, like they much rather would have just played core constructed. They spent $60 basically to get a Mulan. That's what they did. So just have a core constructed side event. Like that is the same exact thing. Like you could still run those 4-round double ups or whatever. Like you can still do that. Start them at noon. So the people that are eliminated from top 32 have something to do at noon.
Yep.
Don't start them at 10. What are we doing?
It also contributes to the problem of pack rush.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
When there's nothing else to do, or when when all other options are eliminated, you go to pack rush, and then
those lines I heard were.
I heard that it was like 20 to 30 minutes to play a game of pack rush.
And then at one point they cut it off too.
Yeah.
And they were like, you can't get in the line anymore.
Yeah. Terrible. Not good.
Also, not to mention, we have set champs for the next now 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So like if I was a more social player, I would love to get some reps in against people who are all there, who played the format, who are going to be going to their own as practice.
100%.
Just saying.
Yeah. Like I said, and a lot of this is just like if I wasn't in Bologna, I would have nothing to say about any of this probably.
Right.
But because we were there and we were talking and we were a part of the community and like having these conversations, a lot of people felt this way. They're like, why do I have like I literally feel like I have to play Infinity today because it's the best use of my time in theory. Yeah. The second best use of my time is looping pack rush. Like the prize incentive for every event in the room doesn't compare to pack rush. Guys, that's a problem. You need to give out better prizing for everybody in your side events so you don't have 30-minute lines for pack rush. I'm just being honest here. Like I'm just being honest.
I mean, we want people to like play the game, and I assume we want pack rush for new players to introduce them to the game and teach them the game. And you want, I know Scott signed up for a draft that took hours to fire.
He didn't fire. His didn't even fire.
It never fired?
No.
It never fired?
He never drafted. He didn't even draft.
Dick got into a draft, but that
90 minutes after he signed up. Yeah.
90 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's certainly a problem. 100%.
And then like you have these artist signings, which are cool, but the lines took a really long time to churn through. And on top of that, like you also had Meet the Developers who were doing pack rush, which is awesome, but you had to sign up. So like a very limited amount of people had exposure to kind of do that introduction activity.
You're never doing that as a true competitor.
No, I know.
You're never doing that.
Which is really funny. Like that, all right. So it's so difficult to say this, but mostly because of the scale of the room, right? We saw Steve Warner at Pro Play Summit Denver.
Yep. And
he didn't have a sign-up sheet, right? Like the artist there didn't have a sign-up sheet. Right. And not for nothing, it wasn't a problem. Now, granted, there's only like 300, 400 people, right? It's not 2,000. So I can see that there is a layer of like a potential issue here. But the real truth is that like, if you just all you have to do is say, hey, these are the times that they're going to be available. Let anybody that is not doing anything go to the line and then just have a judge there and say, all right, this is the cutoff. We're done. Sorry. Like,
if I remember correctly, that's what they did in Toronto.
Yeah.
There was pack rush with some number of developers from the game dev team.
Yeah.
And there was this like line in the corner and you got to go in the line, and at some point the line got cut off, and like it was your decision if you were going to wait in line for 2 hours to do that or do something else. Like you're grown up, you can make a decision on how you spend your time.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, at least it wasn't, I have to sign up for this time slot, and then because I did that, I can't even like play Lorcana.
Well, that was the other thing. Like I was signed up for an artist signing that took place in the middle of round 11.
Right.
So I went to them when I was done with the tournament and I said, hi, I was just playing in day 2. So now I'm here. And they're like, well, you missed your time. And I said, well, you can see I never checked in, so why can't I get in line now? And they let me in.
They're
Yeah.
usually good about that if you're actually playing. I mean, the artists were also free at the DLC where you have to pay for them in PPG Denver.
Yeah, sure.
That's a big reason because they did some awesome art on the cards, but it takes a while. It took too long, or there was too many people signed up, or something.
I think I finished my round. There was 18 minutes left in the round. I had a 3 o'clock thing, and I was like, all right, cool. It was 3:15 when I was done my round, and I walked over there, and you guys were there in line, so I jumped in with you.
Yep.
And it went to negative 13 minutes in the round, and we had not moved a foot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was there for 25 minutes, and we didn't even move.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, guess I'm not getting my card signed because I had to go play my next round. That's crazy.
They needed, well, like, so you said there was so much staff. There was not enough staff there, probably,
on that
which
side,
is fine.
sure.
Let's allocate the staff to what
Yeah.
truly matters, but like
Yeah.
in the United States, it feels like there would almost be somebody there with a stopwatch being like 2 minutes next. Like you,
That's tough.
You're playing with the developer, like you got 15 minutes for your pack rush. If you can't close, like highest lore.
Sure.
But like at PPG Denver, you walked up and you waited in line behind Steve or behind the person playing Steve, and you were just like, "Can I play?" And he was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
It was a very different experience.
Yeah.
For even no knock on the developers that were there, but like Steve is a creator of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's definitely tough. So I don't know. I really feel like I don't know. Like it's funny because like I remember Vegas and I remember Seattle, and obviously we didn't have a second format by then, right? Like we didn't have Infinity. It didn't exist. So it's hard to judge it. And I also, for what it's worth, they took deck lists, right? So, now granted they were paper deck lists. Here's a good question. How come the DLC had the ability to import a deck list, but the main side event for day 2 didn't?
Great question.
that was crazy.
What's that about? I don't know. We had to write our deck list out. That was fun.
Haven't done that since PAX Unplugged 2023.
The first time.
Okay. I was about to say, I was like, I didn't remember doing that last year.
Yeah.
No, it was the first time.
The tournament that Pave won.
Yeah. Shout out to Pave. European Pave though, not our Pave. So like, yeah, I don't know. That's so tough. I just think a lot can be learned, and I think a lot could be fixed by the time we get to Milwaukee. There's 2 weeks away. I really hope they take the feedback. I hope that a lot of people are kind of saying the same things, and they get that feedback, because I think it's important, like, to get, like, just let people play what they want to play. You don't need to give like literally like 7,000 tickets to the winner. Like, you just don't need it. Like, give me an excuse to play Disney Lorcana just to experience the event and like have something to do while I'm there already. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's so tough.
Just make sure there's enough incentive every round to make you want to play the game.
Yeah.
Make you think about wanting to play the game, right?
Yeah. Again, so this question was earlier. What was the pricing for Pack Rush? I don't remember the exact numbers, but what I can tell you is that if you have the ability to get in line and get 4 packs and get your tickets, like, and you can do that enough times, that's the best way to acquire an uncut sheet. That's the best way to acquire a playmat that you might want, or like whatever you want to do, because everything that you're doing is for value. Like the packs themselves have a value. The tickets are getting you something that has a value. So it is way easier, or like way more guaranteed.
Yeah, it's the most consistent.
Depending on time. It's the most consistent way to acquire the tickets that you want for whatever prize that you want. So that's why the lines ended up being like 20, 30 minutes because the side events weren't firing. Like the drafts took 90 minutes. The core constructed double up event was supposed to start at 10. It didn't start till 11. They gave everybody a free win in the tournament. Like, and that was for all of the side event tournaments that did fire. Like, since all of these bad things were happening, the only thing you could do to get the tickets that you wanted to even get the prize that you wanted was go play Pack Rush. I don't think that should be the answer. I think that you should incentivize people playing in the actual side event tournaments, not just going and playing Pack Rush with one other person. I think that is the worst possible thing for the event. Like, have people sitting at tables playing Lorcana, you know. Hello, friend. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you had a good stream yourself. So yeah. And I got no beef with Pack Rush. I think people want to play Lorcana. Give them the incentive to play Lorcana.
Not for nothing. Like, I didn't fly all the way across the world to play Pack Rush with my teammate, who I can literally, like, we did that at Ink. We took your box of Fabled and basically played Pack Rush.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a great time. I'm just saying, like, I didn't fly to Europe to.
Yeah,
it is fun, but it's hard also for us to bring bulk home. Like 100%. They weighed our bags at Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy. We're not used to that, but like they weighed everything, and like, go spoilers, the bag full of cards was heavy. You know.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I got one last con, and then we're going to close on all the good stuff. Oh my God, was the prize ticket pickup line the worst experience in DLC history?
That was pretty miserable.
It was the most Disney thing of the weekend.
So,
that's for sure.
Here's the first problem, all right? I played in a 9-round tournament that was or in a 9-hour tournament that was only 6 rounds. Okay? Yep. And after I was done and won my game, I couldn't even pick up my tickets.
Because the round wasn't over, correct?
They literally said, no, you can't pick up your tickets until the results of the event go in. And I'm like, madness. That's insane. Like, that is actually insane. Because what ends up happening is that it's 6 o'clock in the night. Every side event that was happening throughout the day all end at the exact same time. And now you have 1,000 people that were all told the same thing, that they had to go and stand in a line to pick up tickets. I cannot think of a worse choice in the history of choices than to say, have 1,000 people all pick up their tickets and then go to the prize wall and spend them.
I watched your event have basically 5 minutes on the timer, and I looked at Ben and I said, I have 3,000 tickets and we're redeeming them now because I want to beat this line.
I don't think they ran out of anything.
That's correct. To my
silver lining.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
It is the first DLC, so if they ran out of something, we would have a problem.
True. So yeah, again, the system I talked about 10 minutes ago, if you just have judges put tickets on the table and say, these are yours, and the winner gets this completely removes this line.
That's how they
gone from existence.
Day 2 tickets, they just dropped them off in round 9.
When round 9 started, everybody got basically a little rubber band full of tickets.
Just every person, here's your
like
1,000
tickets. Here's your Mulan. Here's your Pegasus. Like, just like in round 2, everyone got a Pegasus. The tournament started the new round, and everybody got their 1,000 tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it should be done. We should not be waiting in some line for. I felt like I don't even know how long I was in that line, but it felt like forever.
It felt like a long time.
I was there
at least
for a while.
I had a whole talk with the meeting in mind, so yeah. That was 30 minutes alone.
Yeah, so it was crazy. Please do whatever you possibly can to avoid that. I think it's a miserable experience. It's the last thing of the day, and you're having people leave kind of feeling bad.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, "Wow, I had to stand in that line for an hour."
To then go stand in another line.
Yeah, and then after that, I still had to go and stand. Like, it's bad. Please figure. I mean, I gave some options on how to change that, but like, do something to remove that. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience. It's not. You never want people leaving with the like potentially the worst experience. Like, if that's what they're leaving on, it doesn't feel good. I'm over it. I'm just like, oh, it's not good. All right, so we let's talk about the good stuff. And like, here's the real truth. I still had a blast, right? And none of these things are going to like stop me from going to a DLC, right? Like, it was still a good time. It was still a lot of fun. But like all of those things that we kind of just complained about, I think that they can be fixed.
And
like, there's a path.
That's the needs improvement category that we
Yeah.
just went over.
And I'll be honest, like when we all left Atlanta last year as the first DLC, I think there was a lot of very similar response to how we're reacting right now to Bologna. Like, hey, we had a great time. This was awesome. There's a lot of things that could be improved. And we did see improvement by the time Chicago came around. So,
and that was only 2 weeks. So we had a whole extra week this time. You know?
Remember when we had to leave the play area and all go back into the play area?
Yep.
That didn't happen by Chicago. So they can change. There is hope.
So like I'm hopeful, if anything, that the right people are watching or listening and can take in the feedback and act on it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, number one pro of the weekend. I'm not gonna lie, the community in Bologna were absolutely incredible. I think as a player experience, playing in Bologna was my best experience to date. I don't know about you guys, but like the games that I played with the opponents that I did, the conversations that I had, everything about it was positive. The coolest thing, you know, like obviously, you know, you go to an American DLC and you play people from the East Coast and the West Coast and, you know, from whatever. I played against people from 9 different countries. It was like, I compared it to the Epcot. Like, you wanted to go and drink around the world. Like, I got to play card games around the world in one tournament. And as a lifetime card game player, it was the coolest experience ever.
I learned about docs in 4 languages.
I traded a doc for a chef.
That was cool.
Traded a doc for a chef. That happened.
Yes. We had chefs. We had Dota. We had Prof. Oh, Dato.
And,
yeah, Dato, Prof. That was really fun. Really cool. I don't know. It was so much fun. I thought the community was so good. We were making jokes, but like we had people come up to us literally in gelato shops.
Yep.
That was awesome. From like me to anyone that I spoke to that like thanked me for what I did. It's one thing to like be an American, go to an American DLC and like meet these people that you speak the same language with, that's fluent and everything like that, than it is to travel across the globe and be talking to people from Germany, Italy, Czech Republic, Spain, and like all of those people say the same thing. Like, to know that somehow I am impacting the game at a global level was absolutely incredible. Like, it was one of those things where I genuinely did not know how it would be when we were there. I don't know. I was not expecting the level of like people still coming up, asking for signatures, asking for photos. Like, I didn't really expect that going over. I just didn't know. And
no, shout out to Snow White, a true fan of mine.
Oh man. Yeah.
During one of the DLC rounds, I look around and I saw this girl and she had these like cuffs and they were Lady and Tramp. Mm-hmm. And I look at Ben and I'm like, I have to go talk to this person. Like, this is the coolest Lady and Tramp accessories I've seen in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I walk up to her and I'm like, hi, like, I love your Lady and the Tramp. 10 seconds later, I realize that it's Mary. And she goes, I have a friendship bracelet for you. Look.
Yeah.
And she literally had a TFM Melissa bracelet that she's like, I knew you were coming and I wanted to give this to you. Like, I thought I was walking up to a stranger and it was
Yeah.
someone I'd spoken to on the internet like multiple times.
Yeah.
Because we'd never met. So, like, it was very welcoming that people just either knew who you were or were very receptive to like, wow, you're an American, you flew here to play games. And like opponents were generally very nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've left a table and somebody's angry because I won the game.
Yep.
I did not get that feeling in any of the rounds that I won or lost.
I only got it in one, and I still don't hold it against my opponent. I got the luckiest I have been in months in a card game, and he deserved to be upset.
But I only say that because, like, usually that's if
Yeah.
we're playing a 9-round DLC like last year, that probably happens in 7 of your 9 rounds.
At least
Yeah.
4, minimum 4.
Like, you get 2-0'd and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, like, it didn't happen. It really didn't happen.
Yeah.
The community was great. The respect level was great. And, like, again, we're in a foreign country. You know, we don't speak the language. Was not a problem all day. I didn't have a single language barrier problem. There was one judge call based on a misconception of a card, but like it didn't have anything to do with the language barrier of it. And I was certainly worried about that as well. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like if we could have went there, I could have played against 9 people that did not speak English or did not understand English, and it might have been a bad time. That's not what happened at all. It was the complete opposite. Every opponent was great, respectful, kind. It was great. It literally, I think it was easily the best DLC I played in.
The judges too, like there were judges all around who offered to show cards in other languages. Like I played against a French card and somebody at the table, like a few tables over, had a Clarabelle question. And the judge very literally said, oh, you played this card. I will show you a picture of this card in your like primary language.
Yeah.
Clarabella.
Whatever the card was, like the judges and staff were paying attention, making sure that rules were being enforced properly and that language was not causing any kind of trouble.
So there was a lot of languages going on there too. Like there was people from Spain, Germany, France, Italy. I mean, we were in Italy. There was Americans. Luckily, everyone, for the most part, spoke English.
Yeah, I had one opponent for sure that did not speak any English. Like we actually did use a translator it like after the match and things like that, like to kind of have a conversation, which was totally happy to do it. Like I'm in your world. Like I
never had anything that crazy.
I'm in your world. I just want to make sure everyone's cool, everyone's happy. Like that's kind of like that's at least how I treated it, you know. And I was like actually I remember walking out of there Saturday. I didn't make day 2. I didn't feel like great about my performance, even though I was there, but I still feel really bad about it. But like the feeling I had was, you know what? I still had the best time, you know, like everybody that I spoke to today was awesome. And I can't speak any higher of that than to those people. I thought it was just like absolutely crazy how good it was.
I said to Baker and Kim when they did the interview with me on after my feature match on day 2, like first of all, that was the first time I had a feature match at a DLC. So like a feature match was certainly not on my bucket list, and a feature match in Europe was definitely not on my bucket list. But like it didn't feel any different. I was just another person who they picked to be on the stream.
Yeah, like I asked my wife because she had watched the majority of the day. I said, "It's like, hey, how many Americans like got called?"
I'm pretty sure the answer was 2.
I think, to my knowledge, it's just you and Tiago.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
You also played 3 females in your 9 rounds or
I
8
did.
rounds.
By the time day 1 had ended, I had played 3 females.
Yeah.
I had still played 0, but it's worth noting.
I didn't play against any.
I did not play any other American.
And again, just like there was only 50. It might not even be 30.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it might not even be 30 Americans. It's very possible that it was less than 30. So it's not shocking that I didn't play any Americans. Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. Second pro, Scott Landis made the post about it Saturday morning. Best food in any DLC.
He was so excited.
He wasn't wrong.
No,
The
I
food
know.
was great. And I don't even think it was that expensive, if I'm being honest. Like, it's convention level food. So you're expecting it to be a little overpriced. And don't get me wrong, I don't ever want to pay $4 for a soda. But I could have been paying $8 for a soda, right? Like,
Yeah, but we were paid $4 for a soda anywhere we went in Italy.
right, that's true also.
So like,
I mean, you had your gelato, you had your panini sandwiches, you had your like hot dog croissant like pastries,
those giant
Yeah.
donut things.
and
Yeah.
like it's not like going into a food truck and getting like French fries and hamburgers because we're in
Yeah.
Italy.
Or street tacos.
Right.
But like you had your equivalent of staples readily available, so you didn't have to leave the venue.
Yeah. My favorite thing of the weekend was definitely when I went up on Sunday. I was somewhere, I don't know what round it was, but I was hungry in the Infinity tournament, and I got a hot dog, the homemade chips that they had, and a soda. And they asked me if I wanted mayo and ketchup on my hot dog. And I'm like,
I remember this.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
like, all right, like I guess if that's what you guys do here, I'll eat it that way. And I remember I came over to the table. I'm like, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It was fine.
You were like,
but
it's
yeah,
just
the food
fry
was great.
sauce.
Yeah, basically it's just fry sauce, 100%. So yeah, like I don't know, the food was absolutely delicious. I can't think of any other DLC that like came close to the food in my opinion. So huge pro for that one.
Definitely not Texas.
We've talked about this quite a bit, but what really? Because Texas was 90 minutes of it, maybe not even.
Yeah, it was open the whole time too. It was literally open like
Until we left.
literally from start to finish.
Start
It
to
wasn't
finish,
even like
right?
we had to
Like-
wait. It was there. You could have got
gelato
gelato
at 9
at
a.m.
9 a.m.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
it was
We did
great.
that one day.
It
It's
was great.
okay. We talked about this a little bit about the earlier, but like to focus on it even more, the staff
Yeah.
was incredible. That event could have been so much worse.
The staff had answers. If they didn't have answers, they told you who and where to go, and you could get an answer. And like that's more than I can say about a lot of other events I've played in.
And I'm talking like everybody here. Like we're talking
Anybody,
The-
didn't matter language.
we're talking about the people that were running the food area. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously the artist, the game devs that were there, they were awesome. The casting crew, like we talked to every one of them, like obviously we're a little bit more familiar with them than the rest of the community. Like even like Kim and Kawa, we met a few weeks ago. We've known Baker forever. And then we had we were lucky because Rebecca got to do her first DLC over there. Had a great conversation with Rebecca. Like everybody from like literally the tippy top to the very bottom, they felt for the most part informed, and everything about it felt like it was moving like together. And I don't always get that at every DLC. Like I feel like some of them were definitely hit or miss. Some of the staff was like not good. Some of the communication is like not great. I thought this one, again, language barriers included, it flowed. It really did. Like, yeah, there was problems that had to be fixed, but they were fixed. We didn't lose a round of a DLC, right? Like they had plans, they executed the plans, it worked. Everybody was kind, everybody was moving things forward. I can't speak any highly. Like they were great.
Judges
I thought everybody
adapted.
was
Like
great.
we had, as day 2 was going on and RPH was kind of being very slow, they had a spot for tables that was specifically just for our event, and they basically like blocked it off so that Pack Rush wasn't in the way, so that judges weren't in the way, and said like, you're all going to be crammed here. There's 285 of you, but like this is where you go, and we're going to put 2 copies out, and it's going to be alphabetical, and like that's how you do it. And was it perfect? No, but it moved everything along, and no one was late, no one missed rounds, and the tournament progressed.
They did
and
right by the 9 threes.
They did.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. The like once they had to go and resort to like these other ways to set out pairings, they gave everyone enough time to sit down. You know, like it wasn't like pairings went out and then the timer started. Like that didn't. In most cases, I sat down well before my opponent, and they would sit down, we would shuffle up, we would cut each other's decks, we would put the first 7 cards out, and then we would be waiting.
Yep.
Like, all right, we've
my
probably still
experience
got
as well.
you know another 3-5 minutes. Like we can just again, language barriers. So I didn't have as many conversations with most people. Like normally I waited for the vibe of my opponent. Like if they were comfortable speaking English and like wanted to chat, I did. That definitely wasn't the case for everybody because I think there was just like enough of a language barrier that it didn't happen. But it was still like this, it wasn't perfect, but it worked and they made it work. And I think that they should be very proud of what they did and what they completed because it could have been so much worse. Like, it really could have been.
Even from like the production side, like when I was pulled for feature match, like we were on our own timer. We had basically everything separate. And when I came out, the round had basically ended. They were in turns. And I went up to a judge and I said, I got pulled for feature match. I need to go to the bathroom before the round starts. And she said, if the round is paired and you don't get back, sit at your table, call and ask for me, and you will get time extension. Like, do not worry about it. So like they very much wanted players to have a good experience. And if you're not breaking any rules, they were there to just enforce and keep the tournament moving.
I mean, yeah, the venue had obvious bathroom problems. Anytime you have 1,500 plus males and 300 females in a venue, we're gonna run into some issues. But like that's inevitable, right?
I'm also not positive, but I think that there were only 2 bathrooms. Like
I believe that's correct.
And they were a floor below us.
And they weren't huge or anything. They were like
we had like 4 stalls in the female bathrooms.
I think for the males, it was maybe 6 urinals and then 5 or 6 stalls is my guess.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was that many, but like that's my guess.
So, that stuff is gonna happen, but like for the most part, they ran that tournament pretty smoothly. In one of those rounds with paper pairings, my opponent or the competitor next to me didn't have an opponent. And, as soon as the round starts, 59 minutes, 59 seconds, judge, no opponent. And he's like, actually, we've been informed to give them 15 minutes before you get a game loss instead of 10 or whatever,
I had a similar interaction. One of the rounds on the first day, my opponent just wasn't there. And I called a judge and they said, if in 8 minutes, no one has come, like find us. And 3 minutes later, the gentleman had come in. He had to re-sleeve his deck because something cracked and then his sleeves didn't match. So he had to redo his whole deck.
Yeah.
So like, they gave us 5 minutes extra and all was fine.
They were communicating behind the scenes to know something. Like,
yeah.
It ran the judging or staff, whatever, we want to categorize that was, they did great.
Yeah. Overall, there was a lot more cons than pros, but again, I still think that for me, and listen, it might be like, hey, we haven't had a DLC in a year, yada, yada, yada. But like, I thought it was just great. I thought the experience was worth it. I can't push enough to like Americans go to Ghent, like try and get a ticket to Ghent, like experience this because I really did. It was so much fun. The community was so nice. The staff was great. I mean, everybody that I interacted with through the whole entire weekend, whether it was in the event or in a gelato shop an hour away from the venue, it was good. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. It's Disney Lorcana has given us an excuse to travel the world. Take it. Like if you love this game, just do it. That's like my my final go home for it.
That's exactly it, right? Like you can travel the world and explore what you want, and this just gives you a reason to go to these places. And like you said, this was your first time out of the country.
Yeah. I mean, technically second, but yeah.
I know. It's definitely your first time in Europe. Like you had to. This is your first time really experiencing like language barriers or anything. Like it's a different world over there. Like,
yeah, the only time I'd ever done that before was the World of Warcraft trading card game. Like our worlds, I went to the 3 worlds that were in America, and that was the only time I'd ever experienced language barriers with card game players because of people that came to play in worlds. Aside from that, it's never really been a thing. And that's why, I was a little bit anxious about it. Like I didn't really know what to expect from, and like for us, like we didn't really talk about too much, but like our dinners and stuff, I don't think any restaurant that we went to, aside from Thursday night, I think Thursday night was the most English that anyone spoke, but like Saturday night, we literally were like pointing at the menu to tell our waiter like what we wanted. Like, so like that was actually the hardest language barrier of the weekend, was ordering food, hilariously.
oh, picking gelato flavors without an English menu was the hardest thing. But
without pictures.
like you walk into a gelato store, they got just 12 words on a wall. You pick
the first gelato shop we went to was the best gelato shop because it had everything was open and I could look at it.
That was the best when you could see it.
Every other shop, I'm like,
now I know like Clarabella has picture.
Right. But I mean, I did have gelato 5 times, so like, hey, it was worth it. And none of the times was it bad, so it's fine.
I mean, like half the reason that Ben and I went to Stockholm was we said that we didn't want our first European event to be at the DLC because like there was just nerves of playing in a big tournament in another country with people who don't speak the language. And granted, in Stockholm, they predominantly spoke English.
Yeah.
But we were still playing with some people who didn't speak English, and we still were the outsiders. So like it eased a lot of my nerves. And then like seeing some of those people back-to-back weekends definitely made me feel comfortable.
Yeah. That was interesting. And like the other thing was, and it's just kind of obvious, but if you don't think like maybe like I didn't think about it until it was happening in the DLC. Yeah, there was only like 25 to 30 Americans. And guess what? We hung out all weekend. You know, like it was like one of those where like if you go off and you're doing this and you're kind of by yourself, you will still have friends by nature. That is 100% something that happened. We spent a lot of time with the guys from World Class Cards, a lot of the times with the guys from Luxury Gaming, like
Southside.
Southside guy, yeah, right. Like we were there together for sure, in its own little way.
At the pairing wall, I was standing at the F's, and I saw over at the B's was like Robert from World Class Cards, Kendall, J Bomb, Zach Bivens. I was like, I know I'm an F. I'm just gonna go stand with the Americans and figure this out. It was very real. But it's just like you recognize those people, but you also make friends. Like I met this guy, Silvio, in Sweden, and I talked to Silvio. He 2-0'd me. He 2-0 cracked me in like 10 minutes, and I was like, of course. And then I talked to him for like 15 minutes here, you know?
Yeah. He saw me playing day 2, and then he looked at me and he's like, you good? Like, how you doing? Like, they were just checking up on us just like anyone else would. Just like when we're at...
It's no different,
like, we're in Milwaukee, and yes, we have our team, but there's other people that like you're checking in on your locals. It felt very similar to that.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone was very welcoming. I 100% made friends on the weekend. Huge shout out to Tiago and his wife. They were absolutely amazing. You referenced her earlier as Snow White. They were
not purple
Tiago.
steel Tiago.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, no, not that Tiago.
Not Tiago.
We're talking about Italian
Tiago.
He was great. You know, like they were so very welcoming to us. They were a lot of fun to talk to. I can't remember the team name, but the Germans.
TSR.
We talked to them for like an hour.
Germans.
Oh, the other Germans.
The Germans that we traded with.
Yes.
Yeah, they were awesome. Like they were such cool conversations. I spent like an hour in line with the group from Spain. They were awesome. I met the guy who runs the Lorcana France.
Yep.
X page and Instagram page. I met I can't remember what he was. I met another guy. I think it was the Spain one. I'm pretty sure. Like, I just met so many people and like other content creators that around the globe that obviously I've never spoken to before in person. You mentioned Mary earlier, right? She was just one of many. Like,
Right.
it really was. It was so much fun. The experience was great. I left there thinking like, man, there's no way I'm not going to go to Ghent. Like, like that was the exact vibe, was like leaving there that day on Sunday night. I was just like, yeah, man, this was 10 out of 10 would do again, and that's the experience. I really want the Americans to understand that it's fun. It's no different than an American DLC. Everyone's welcoming. It was a good time. It was run well. And if you want to travel, like, just use Lorcana as the excuse to do it. Like, we still had a day on the front and a day on the back to explore Bologna. Like, while Bologna is probably not the greatest city on earth to explore, we still had the time to do it. If you want to make a trip out of it, great. Alex came in a day earlier. He did Florence for the day. Whether or not that was a mistake was debatable because of the protest, but he made it, right? It was
I know
cool.
multiple people who were extending on the backside and doing Rome. Like, I believe Toby and Sabrina were doing Rome.
Yep.
Shane also spent like a day or two in Rome. Somebody else went to Pisa for the day. Like,
yeah,
you're already there. Like, Ben and I have been to Paris 2 times together. We spent a third week in Paris together because we've never done Disneyland Paris. Like, that's been on our bucket list forever. And since we were in Europe, it was just easy.
It was awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I can get a ticket to Ghent, I 100% intend to be there.
Yeah.
So that we can go back to Disneyland Paris. Just kidding.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's a group of 4 or 5 of us that are pretty gun-ho about Japan in January. So that very likely is the next like full team one, I think, because I think it's going to be us here, Dick, and I'm pretty sure Alex won't say no. So
yeah,
I expect the 5 of us to like really try for Japan, and that'll be like a really fun trip for sure. So like that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, like, it's not that I'm not looking forward to Milwaukee, but like, it's Milwaukee.
It's an excuse to see something you haven't before, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Flying halfway across the U.S. is very different than flying across the world.
What are you talking about? I'm driving like 10 hours with Ben.
That's fine too.
I don't understand.
Enchanted Chatter, do they have gelato in Milwaukee?
She doesn't know where the dessert spots are.
Yeah.
It's on the bucket list.
We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, any last thoughts about the weekend?
No. None.
Zero.
No, it was great. It was truly great. Like, I would have loved to top or something to do better in my performance, but like, ultimately it's kind of what I expected the format to be. It's really hard to top 32 in these DLCs. So like, you have to be perfect. Yeah, you have to go 10-2, but like, you also can't lose your first 5 rounds. So that's kind of where I'm at. So like, it is what it is, but like, you'll see me in Milwaukee and like above a 50% chance for Singapore for November, because these DLCs are like not missable.
Set realistic goals for yourself, I think, is really important. Like, everyone's competitive, everyone wants to do well, but don't push yourself to something that you can't attain. Like, try and set something hot. What I mean by that is like, where everyone is in the game is in a different spot, and put a goal that you feel is attainable but challenging for you, and just try and like get there and make the next one better. Like, my goal is never going to be the same as Ben's goal, is not always going to be the same as Dan's goal, but helping yourself kind of get the steps to get there can go a really long way.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from like that comment is, don't set a goal that if you don't reach it, it will ruin the experience.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. you know. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, it was kind of crazy that 48 hours ago we were sitting in Italy, and now we're all home. Thankfully, everybody that went on the trip made it home safe, which I'm always grateful for. Still not sure about Dick if he made it home, not yet, but
Based on Liz's comment, I think he made it home.
No, she said she didn't hear from him.
No, she said he didn't say he was coming home, which I thought meant that he got
well, it's
home.
worth like he might not have. Again, he made a post on X about going rogue. Spoilers.
Going sleepy.
Spoilers. He went rogue because he's not even
That
talking
sounds about right.
He's no 4 bodyguard right now.
Yeah, maybe. I know he left my house to go to his mother's house, and he was very tired. So like I know that much. But yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. Just curious, what are your personal goals for Milwaukee?
Oh, top 32.
Melissa's is run Disney.
Sad.
Yeah, I set my first goal for the first event. I didn't hit it, so my goal is still to day 2. That's where we're at. That's my personal goal.
My goal for Italy was day 2, and I got there. So I'd say my next goal would be top 64.
Good goals. Good goals. And like Ben said, it's really difficult. There were people that went 10-2 and didn't make top 32. Like that's tough. That is really, really tough to win 10 games of Disney Lorcana or 10 matches of Disney Lorcana and not make top cut. That's brutal. Honestly, that's brutal. So yeah, like that's just going to be where it's at, you know? And I think that is the biggest takeaway. And I also think it's one of those where if you look at the event and you say, hey, this is an event. Now, granted, we're from America. I know most of the American names. I don't know as many of the European names because this is something we're probably going to talk about next week. It's just not, there's not enough information out there. Like even this, it's Wednesday and we don't even know all the 32 decks that were played in top 32. That's ridiculous, but it's true. So like, because we don't know all the decks that were in top 32, I don't even know the names of all 32 players that played in the top 32. But for us as Americans that traveled, you know, Edmund Chu, runner-up of Worlds, didn't make day 2. Zach Bivens didn't make day 2. You know, like there are these great players in the game that traveled to this event and they didn't even go 6-2 on day 1 to make day 2. The top 32 was consumed of a bunch of new players that were unfamiliar in the space of competitive play, which means it means one of two things. One, anybody can do it, right? Like anybody can show up and make day 2 and make top 32. And that's what it proves you. It also proves that you like just because you've been good before doesn't mean you're going to have a good tournament. You know, like Bivens, one of the most successful players, Ed, one of the most successful players. They weren't perfect. They didn't have good days. It happens to everyone. So when you set those goals, you got to set them with the expectation of like, hey, if I don't hit it, you know, it can't ruin your experience. And I think that that's what it is. And I know that that's very difficult for everyone. I know there's definitely a level of players that like their goal is to win the tournament. And right now, in order to win one of these 2,000 player tournaments, I'm going to be honest, you got to be good, but you really got to be lucky. It's just that simple. So you got to catch lightning in a bottle for a weekend. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm never going to be that upset in any of these tournaments if I don't make day 2, if I don't make top 32. Like it's almost unfair to yourself to do that, in all honesty. So
there's a lot of things out of your control, even if you're winning your games. Like you can see a good matchup 8 times, or you can see a bad matchup 5 times. Like every round when Ben and I would check in on each other, like I was hitting matchups I wanted to see and you weren't, and it wasn't your fault.
I mean, I'm not going to try and discredit the winner of the tournament here, but he played, if I was in his shoes, he played the matchup he wanted to see like 9 out of 12 matches. So
before top 32.
Yeah, before Top Cut.
I didn't see an opponent play a steel card
I
8
also
rounds.
did not see a steel card.
That's the way tournament. I was playing the deck that beats the steel decks, and I didn't see a steel card in 8 rounds. That's card games. That's variance. That's life, you know? So you can make all the best preparations as possible, and you
Still
can't
have to
control.
get lucky.
The one thing you cannot control in the tournament for sure is what your opponents play. You
Yep.
got you have no choice. You have no control over that. So that's just life, you know? And that's
you can-
kind of what I'm talking about too, about, you know, sometimes you gotta be a little lucky. This game is not built where like every deck can beat every deck, or like every deck is favorable in every deck. Like it just doesn't exist. So chances are, if you have a bad matchup and you see it most of your tournament, you're probably not gonna be successful in that tournament. That's just kind of life. It is what it is. But yeah, so
That's why we're playing Disney Lorcana TCG and not chess.
also true.
It's variant, right?
It is variance.
And
Coming from my last competitive card game to this one, I can tell you that there's way more variance in this game than that game. And if that were not true, I would probably be better at it.
All we can do is prepare with the deck you want to bring and knowing your lines for what you need to do. And the rest is up to what you draw and what your opponents are playing.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to chat tonight. You guys were awesome. For those that hung out with us tonight, a lot of fun. Great to be back, in all honesty. You know, it was a busy month of September, so I don't even think we streamed maybe once in September. I'm not sure. Hopefully that changes over the next couple of weeks and we get a couple more streams in before Milwaukee. But it's been fun. Content should be kind of picking back up. The Metafy should be picking back up. We added a chapter to Amethyst Steel today. We have some tournament reports that we're going to be putting on the Metafy. So if you're looking to hear more about like individual experiences, you should definitely follow the Metafy if you haven't yet. And with that, thank you so much for Ben and Melissa filling in for Dick Burns tonight. As we said, you know, he's either asleep or traveling.
New Big Turns.
That's
Big
true.
Turns is Ben after all.
Yeah,
So
That's true.
Yeah,
Big Turns is Ben, so therefore Ben is Big Turns.
You've been replaced, sir.
Yeah, or you're Colby. I'm not sure.
I don't know about that
Both
one.
are better at cards than me, so I'll take it.
It's true. It's true. It's true. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. If you're watching after the fact, hit us with a comment. Let us know what your anything we can answer, all those things with that. And hey, good luck in set championships. I'm hopeful to play on Sunday. On Saturday, I got a wedding. I know people got to get married. I got to attend them. It's not fun, but it's life. It's life, guys. Life of being an adult. But again, thanks so much for Ben and Melissa hanging out tonight. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
See ya.